G'day, citizens. I'm Execute. Welcome to the Inforunners. Joined today by Algared. How you doing, mate?
Fairly well. Kicking just like a roach, you can't kill them.
So after the stream this week, we had a couple of questions about the different types of gameplay that we thought would be coming into the game next. Algared, do you want to read those out for me?
Yeah. So 2 questions. They came in. They were asking about what type of gameplay is coming in, and it did. Even though this episode doesn't quite deal with them, they really were the catalyst of our discussion, and they were the start point of our discussion. But then branched out and went down a rabbit hole. So the first question was from Smoke Clouds 8, and their question was, will we see more mining and other industrial ships this year? So kind of asking what type of gameplay loops, which one's going to be expanded. And the second question was from Justin Hussman, and they asked the question, which industry gameplay loop is likely to be next in 2024, repair or refining? And as we started discussing it, we kind of very quickly knocked refining off. But as we talked about repair, we also went, but hang on, repair's also tied in with salvage and medical. And so we started looking at how they went and what happened. Now, as part of that discussion, you'd been playing in the EPTU, the experimental mode.
I'll kick it over to that now. We couldn't find somewhere down on the planet because there were storms everywhere we went, so I just ended up going to the space in the end. But yeah, as Algared said, we're on the EPTU. I'm currently in game here with the new scraper tool. As you can see, it's doesn't have all its animations right now, but it does have different modes. And it animates a little bit when you fire it.
Yep.
But yeah, heavily influenced, as you can tell there, by the other grey cat line. I'm eventually hoping we kind of get skins for some of these utility ones out too. But yeah, you have to have your shields off, but then you can start salvaging, and it does noticeably Algared I'm going to call you Algared.
Did you call me Algared then?
Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking about 3 things at once.
Many forms. I think that's the first time you've called me Algared rather than Alfred or any other abbreviation, but yes.
Yeah, so it's noticeably slower than other methods. The hand tools, obviously, but just make a couple of holes here so we can get an example. But it's not actually the primary function of this tool that we're interested in. But yeah, so I'll do one more here real quick. It's kind of cool to be able to, freehand draw on the ships a little bit.
And I think eventually you will be able to freehand draw, which scares me a little bit by the number of phallic symbols we'll end up seeing painted on ships, just because.
Well, I wasn't going for that today, but I just don't have quite the space to plot what I was trying to do. I was trying to do a little smiley face, but it's just quite panning out. I'm waiting for this holder.
Not panning out the way you hoped, and I think it'd take too long to get that smiley face. We'd be sitting here going, oh, where do we go after this?
Maybe a little bit closer.
You can see he's showing the interior of a ship. He's in the inside of the ship, taking away that surface layer.
Yeah. Which is what I'm attempting to do, but as you can see, it's not very quick. It's definitely not as quick as its ship counterparts. But the fact that this is already in game and you've seen it before, but that's not what we want to show. We actually want to look at the other mode, and this is taking the material that we have. So we've collected this much material, and now if you shoot at a blank hole, it'll actually start to. Well, it's saying repair's not needed. That's just a lie. There we go, repairing damage. So if you do it on the edge,
it starts to build up the material around that and
close the hole.
Exposed components or exposed framework of a ship.
This is not like working how it was before. Really weird. I used to just aim it at the hole and it would close the hole, but now it's.
Yeah, I think the hole's too big for it to
do that.
There we go.
We'll try this one. It's going very slow compared to what it was before. There we go. Maybe I've got to swirl that around a bit. So yeah, this is very slow going.
And you can see the way that's working. That's the complete opposite of the straw method, where the component, the disintegrated parts kind of get sucked in, you can see those little parts being spat out, and then part of the animation is then filling in the hole. So it's literally the reverse of that salvage mechanic.
Very
Yes,
slow. And we did this earlier when we were playing with this, and it was not this slow before, but it's noticeably slower now. But anyway,
it's a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But I think what you can see is that new covering going over those exposed framework and exposed wiring or other things, but don't have the paint job. So it's still damaged. You can still see it being in the walls.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be the first part, wouldn't it? Like repairing it, and then you'd have to kind of paint it, and kind of like when you do a wall in real life, you've got to, putty it and then paint it and, sand it and all that type of thing to get it back to how it used to look. It's the same type of analogy. This one's really bugging me why this one's not working. There's plenty of material left. Yeah, I think I made the whole team big. I think Algared's right. But yeah, so as Algared said, you are seeing that this is essentially the start of repair. It is repair. It's in the game right now. You can actually do this right now. So could we see this on a ship is the kind of next thing that me and Algared got to. And the actual next part of that actually goes into medical, believe it or not, which is a weird thing, because me and Algared believe the test bed for drones, which is what the Vulture would need, is actually not on the Vulture, but actually on the Apollo. Now, when the Apollo's gone into Grey Box as of this episode, which was inside Star Systems Sprint Tokiai Yol, which has nothing to do with anything. Again, please start naming.
A little bit of time to find it because of that heading. And,
please start naming your episodes so they make sense. Please tell us what's in them. Maybe have some tags so we could search for them. That'd be great. But yeah, we did eventually find it. But yeah, they've gone into Grey Box, and there is a drone on this, and it is a very simple drone that just picks up corpses essentially, or picks up bodies to bring them back to the ship to be repaired. And that is probably one of the simplest drones that we can think of right now, because essentially you could just do it with a tractor beam, and it pulls it into the essential cart of the drone, and then flies the body back. So everything that's there, it's just putting those pieces together. It's essentially a remote controlled snubcraft with a tractor beam on it. That's essentially it. So it's just connecting a few dots together, and you'd be able to do that as the drone for this ship. Whereas when you go under the repair one, you have to actually have the terminals. You have to actually have multiple drones. There are 4 drones in the Vulcan, so it's a little bit more complicated. This is just the one. So it simplifies it. It makes it work. But as soon as you got it working on this, you can then kind of copy that over a lot quicker into the Vulcan and use that as well. And that's where we think you'll come back around to what we just showed you in game. But that would imply medical is coming first here, Algared. And do you want to tell people what that kind of means for this ship? What's coming with the Apollo that sets it apart?
Well, the thing that makes the Apollo so unique is that it's going to be the thing that also makes people lament the 890 jump in the carrot, because I think when the Apollo comes, they will lose their ability to respawn, as a respawn point. Because they only have a tier 2 bed. The Apollo has the option to have a tier 3, tier 2, or tier 1 bed in the 2 wings. So that makes the Apollo, it'll make the Apollo the bed which is used for respawning. So that's a big thing for the Apollo. The other thing with the Apollo, though, is if they don't get the drones working, the Apollo could still come in, because the medical beds are working game already.
Yeah.
So not having the drones work doesn't become a blocker for the ship coming into game. But if you were trying to bring the Vulture in, you can't get drones working at all. They become a blocker for the Vulture. And so that's not the Vulture, sorry, the Vulcan. And so that's where we're kind of sitting at in our kind of thinking.
Definitely some bugs with this still. That's what I'm gonna say. Like there's I don't know if you're seeing it, like it's actually repairing sometimes where there's no edge there and stuff. So it's definitely got some issues still. But I still find it interesting because it's the closest thing we've got to repair right now. So it is, I'm kind of experimenting and playing with it. But yeah.
And I will reiterate, this is the experimental mode. So
yeah, this is what it's for.
Things are not working as well as intended. It could even be they go back to the drawing board, but you can see that that this is something that's certainly being worked on.
You can literally see it right there in big bold text. It's test version. But the other part of this, obviously, that me and Algared thought about too, that might take it a little bit side into the speculation realm, is it could go back to repair coming before medical if there is an entire new ship they're working on that we don't know about that doesn't use drones. And that kind of would make sense, like where the Vulcan gets the drones, the medium repair ship might get the control arms of the Crucible, as an example. And that is similar to base building. If you think about how bases are built, they are kind of 3D printed and stuff. That is essentially repairing, if you think about it. So bringing a repair ship online at the same time as base building kind of makes a lot of sense.
Especially as we have talked about bases degrading and materials degrading. And if you go into game at the moment, as you pointed out, you know, in the EPTU, you've got the uniforms or the armor of the guards is now worn and showing that wear and tear. The weapons have got that wear and tear and dirt. And so as that progress goes on in buildings and outposts, they're going to need to be repaired. So we know that we're going to be able to blow doors up, and unless we repair the doors, they're not going to be functioning. So you can see the need for repair as you go to base building. So
sorry, this is bugging me. I want it to work, but it won't work.
Yeah, I can see it. It's experimental mode, mate.
Anyway, so yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below about what you think about what's coming next. Is it repair? Is it medical? Is it something completely different? We think that they're the biggest signs we have in game, or in or out for that matter. You know, we know they're working on the Apollo, so that's definitely coming. We've kind of got a form of repair in game right now, and it works on vehicles, it works on ships, so it's kind of there. It's not that much harder, if you really think about it, to take that same mechanic and copy it onto a ship's tool, but we just don't have those tools yet. So is it a tool that we've heard about, or is it a new tool completely? And I'm leaning more towards a new ship if it was repair, and obviously the Apollo if it's medical. So yeah, Algared, is there anything you would like to?
No, I think that's right. If we go, it goes down repair as a route. Given that drones aren't necessarily working, and I think the drones for repair are a bigger task, I think we'll see another ship that uses the nozzles as part of its repair rather than drones. That doesn't tread on the Vulcan. It doesn't tread on the Crucible either. And I think having a third repair ship would also be a good ship to have, because each of those ships would then have something different to offer to gameplay and a different options down the line. So,
what would you like to hear from people in the comments below, Algared?
Have we been drinking too much Kool-Aid? What would you like to see? What do you think there's a different gameplay loop that we haven't thought about?
Yeah, and show some evidence. You know, don't just go, oh, it's going to be this. Because base building, I would say, is a real good contender in there. And I actually see, as I said, I see some links between repair and base building. So I think it's, you know, two birds, one stone analogy. But I think the Apollo is kind of in front of it because we've got that medical stuff, we've got the beds. The only thing it really needs is drones, and I think that kind of leads on to repair. So if I was hoping, it would be repair, but if I'm realistic, I think it's going to be the Apollo, then repair and base building, because we know they're working on the base building and they are very much linked. So yeah, I'd like to know in the comments that you know, your thoughts. Are we on the right track, or is there some really big piece of information that we've missed? And if we have so, please provide it and we'll look at it.
Well, if we go back to have a look at both original questions, you know, Justin Husman's question. Will it be repair or refining? And the refining question does make sense in that we know that RSI is the ship that one of the ships are being built. We know the Galaxy's on the track. We know the Galaxy has a refining plant. So again, you could see there's grounds for that. But again,
as we said in the live stream, you get more for repair than you get for refining. Refining is one series of a ship. The repair goes on to other things, and so you get the same amount of work. You get more use out of it. That's not to say refining can't just be slipped in there, but you got to remember the refining we have right now is a non-active gameplay. They have to design an active gameplay around that so we can do the refining instead of just waiting, and that's a big thing to be missing. So yeah, that's why I think repairs a little bit down the road for me personally. So yeah, but that just gives you an example. Algared's not off topic talking about that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So let us know your thoughts. Yeah, don't forget to. What's my mouse acting all weird? Algared, can you see that? I can't go over to the thing. Oh, my mouse is really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I've done.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, no, well, what I was trying to do was click this, Algared. Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I was trying to get over that, but my mouse would let me go over there. Anyway, yeah, so like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Thank you to the people that went the extra mile on the end of the video on Patreon. With that, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.